This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Hi, welcome to December. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. To curb a lyric from a holiday favorite, retailers say it's the most wonderful time of the year. Time for special hours, crowded stores, crowded parking lots, a surge in online ordering, all for gift giving. For business owners, the season also brings year-end obligations, employee holiday schedules, much more. So we're here to help guide you through all of it. Each week, we focus on 7 topics, things that all entrepreneurs face at some point. We talk to people who've been through the process in hopes that sharing their experiences will help everyone. The topics are getting started, accessing capital, the week in business, accounting and bookkeeping, running your business day to day, industry focus, and a success story every week. We post each of our 7 weekly segments from past shows on beoshow.com. You can watch them and share them. Scan the QR code with your phone, and we do have separate QR codes for each segment you'll see this hour. While you're there, listen to the Business, Equity, and Opportunities podcast and subscribe to it on the All Indiana Podcast Network, and subscribe to the newsletter that we update every Tuesday. Now, let's get to the business of business. Here's what's coming up today on Business, Equity, and Opportunity. Supporting small businesses in the Martindale-Brightwood neighborhood. InnoPower launches a Black Business Impact Network. Courtney Kincaid on student loan repayments. We look at the open house at 201 Studios. We learn about the BDPA, founded as the Black Data Processing Associates, and its impact on students. And in our success story, it's tea time. First, getting started. For nearly 50 years, Warren Township's Walker Career Center has helped students train for careers from auto repair to dentistry, child care to radio TV, to welding and other trades. Today, we visit the center to see its new Entrepreneurship program.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting started.
For the last 4 years post George Floyd, the entire city, the entire region, spent a lot of time talking about Black businesses and supporting Black businesses. And I really feel like we've created a better foundation for Black businesses to thrive. But I use a sports term, right? We have to develop the bench, right? Where are the players coming from for the future, right? So we wanted to do something, not necessarily a program, but just create a new system that allows us to scale the number of young Black and brown students who are thinking of starting a business and developing an entrepreneurial mindset.
What the Walker Career Center does, it's attached to the high school, and it has 31 plus career-based classroom settings that kids can take. It's set up kind of like a major in college, and entrepreneurship was chosen last year to go in as a pathway. Especially for the east side and the area that we're in, we're seeing a lot of closures, and the pandemic had affected a lot of that. So I think for the kids to see how they can build a business and hold on to that business and bring it back to their community, I think that is something that this program needs. It started off kind of slow because I think sometimes they don't think their idea is good enough, or this kind of sounds silly. So once we kind of got into it and we were digging a little deeper and we met with some people that are going to do a pitch competition, they really started getting excited, and then they started teaming up, which 2 heads are better than 1, and these ideas started to build. And so now we are finishing our brainstorming area, and then hopefully going to dive deeper into it next semester.
We challenge them to compete in class, to show up every day. If you're going to start a business, you got to show up every day. What I've been thrilled about is how they've embraced that. 85% of the students have passed the Ivy Tech Accuplacer, so they are all full-time students. They had to study hard to pass that. So we challenged them, we asked them to compete, and they responded. So what I get encouraged about is there's a lot of rhetoric about young people today and what they don't want to do. What I see, when you have the right adults around young people and you continue challenging them, you cast a vision of themselves that they don't even see in themselves, young people respond.
What has actually surprised me the most is the kind of attraction that we've gotten for this program. I thought it was just going to be another class that I taught, and we were just going to see how things go. But surprisingly, the whole community is standing behind us, and they're kind of just waiting to see what happens at the end of the semester. So we have a lot of eyes on us, which is good. We have InnoPower, who is kind of really our backbone of the program. They're supporting us from anything from mentors to field trips and any kind of things that we need in the classroom. And then we have obviously the Walker Career Center, who is helping us build the curriculum with a program called RISE. And that's kind of setting us up so that we know to go from the brainstorming to the actual launch program in May. We also have P30 here on the east side. They have brought us in and given us kind of an event space if we need it, studio time if we need it. They have a great photography place. So we've done some headshots. So anything like that, I mean, the community has really come together and helped support us. We have 4 seniors in our class right now, and I'm hoping that those 4 seniors can really take these ideas and help launch it. The ones that are coming back, they get to go through the financial part of the program, and then hopefully by the time they're ready to graduate, they have this great idea, whether they go to college with it or they find a partnership with somebody. Hopefully they can hold on to that, and even if they do fail, they have something that gives them experience based on entrepreneurship.
We're so thankful for the partnership with Warren Central and them buying into our vision. We received funding from the federal government, from the READY program to launch this. So our goal is to scale this across the state. But we wanted to do something that allows us to say, look back 5 years from now and say, you know, we've graduated thousands of young people who've developed the entrepreneurial mindset because they took the class during the school day. So we feel like to accelerate this, to make this work, we use the sports analogy, right? You play school ball, and you go play AAU basketball, and you get better as an athlete. And same thing with entrepreneurship. You take it during the school day, and then you go take programs after school in the summer, and then we accelerate this process. So we're excited about where we are today, and we look forward to where we'll be in 5 years.
This story's so big we decided to divide it up. Next week we'll meet 4 of the students making history as the first class of entrepreneurs. We'll see how it's changing their lives. If you'd like to learn more about the various programs offered at the Walker Career Center, we have information at beoshow.com. Scan the QR code with your phone on the screen right now. It'll get you right there. If you have information that's helped you launch or operate a small business, tell us how you're doing. Send us an email at beo@wishtv.com. Coming up next, supporting entrepreneurs in the Martindale-Brightwood neighborhood. That's when Business Equity and Opportunities return. Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. Time for Access to Capital. We're talking to Joi Harmon, the Deputy Director of the Martindale-Brightwood Community Development Corporation. The mission of the group is to be a catalyst for sustainable growth and revitalization of the Indianapolis neighborhood through housing, employment, small business development, and community education. Harmon's also one of the latest recipients of the Economic Development Professional designation from an international council. We talked to her about the impact of that honor on her and on the people who live and work in Martindale-Brightwood.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Access to Capital.
So my name is Joi Harmon. I am Deputy Director of the Martindale-Brightwood Community Development Corporation, and we're here in Martindale-Brightwood. So Martindale-Brightwood is a thriving neighborhood full of resilient neighbors. Historically, we've faced challenges, being disinvested, having a lot of industry. It was an industrial neighborhood back in the 1800s. There's been a lot of transition that has happened within the neighborhood over 100 years to date. Industries that were here, a lot of retail back in the 90s and the 80s. A lot of people don't know that the Indianapolis Zoo was actually in Martindale-Brightwood before. Currently, our mission, we envision really a thriving neighborhood, right? So that we're able to help neighbors, help residents, people who are interested in developing their skills, build their social capital. So connecting them with folks who are in industries that they're interested in, whether it's real estate development or a small business owner who is looking to get more education around maybe their financial management or accounting marketing, their legal for their companies. So yes, I'm very excited to share that I am now a certified entrepreneur-led economic developer, and that's through the International Economic Development Council. And so really taking everything from community development, entrepreneurship, and just building ecosystems around those environments, right, to create a thriving ecosystem. Some of the active projects that we have here at the Martindale-Brightwood CDC right now, we have actually just launched our first facade and equipment grant. And so really allowing businesses, small businesses specifically, that are in the area to apply for $20,000 grants for facade, whether it's interior or exterior improvements, as well as equipment for their businesses. And so we're in the first round of that, and that was made possible through the Indianapolis African American Quality of Life Initiative. So with this first round, we were looking for businesses that are serving Martindale-Brightwood residents currently, whether they're in the neighborhood or around in the certain surrounding areas, or folks who have gone through our programs. We offer a multi-week business development program. So in the future, again, we want to make sure that businesses feel equipped, business owners feel equipped, and so really helping them build their financial toolbox, right? Looking at how to sustain their business, looking at their marketing, ways to grow their marketing, and ways to get that legal advice if that's what they need. This is important, of course, it's always been important, but when we think about wealth building, right, we know that there's been systems historically in place, right? And so when there are opportunities for us to help folks, of course, build the education, the skill set, the social capital, but with opportunities like the African American Quality of Life Initiative, where we're able to be innovative on how we introduce folks to wealth building opportunities through grants, really showing them also how to manage the capital that they do have, and even think about ways to crowdfund. That's something else that we're looking at. So not only are we granting folks, and we want to teach folks how to become bankable and loan ready, those are some of the things that we'll focus more on in 2024. So the excitement and the passion comes from working with people who are doing the work, right? Maybe who have just not had the opportunity before to elevate. I get excited from hearing business owners who are becoming minority certified. Something that they thought maybe was not possible, right? Was not feasible for them. Maybe they didn't understand that process. And so for them to get opportunities from becoming minority certified, or from having the right equipment to officially operate their business. We want folks to know when they come to Martindale-Brightwood CDC that they're welcome, right? They matter, their business idea matters, and if we don't have the tools, we have the mindset or the social capital to connect them with someone that maybe is a good fit, that could be a mentor, or that could pour into their business in some kind of way.
If you want more information about the Martindale-Brightwood Community Development Corporation or any of our Access to Capital stories, we have links on our website, beoshow.com. Coming up later, Courtney Kincaid on your student loan. Before that, though, measuring the impact of black businesses in Indianapolis. That's coming up on the other side of this break. Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. Time to talk about the week in business. InnoPower is launching something called the Black Business Impact Network. InnoPower's Emil Ekiyor and David Fredricks at the Office of Minority and Women Business Development explain the project.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This Week in Business.
The last 3 or 4 years, the Indianapolis Office of Minority and Women Business Development Office, David's office, has done an unbelievable job in Indianapolis creating access to opportunities for Black businesses in supply diversity with the city and contractual opportunities. We have so many businesses that are looking to access that opportunity. So what we did was sit down with David to understand, how do we create more access? How do we open the levers for everybody? And he shared having a platform that allows us to identify metrics, measure those metrics in real time, create more transparency as far as where the contractual opportunities, how do I get those opportunities, and really help inform the business owner a lot more on how they can get these opportunities, from when you start your business to when you access the opportunity to when you're bidding for the contract, and identify all the supports along the way. So a local tech company, Meta Impact here in Indianapolis, jumped in with us to help build that platform. So David's office can use this platform to measure the metrics in real time, how we're doing towards our goals in supply diversity, where are the gaps in the ecosystem, who's providing the supports, how many businesses actually won contracts, how many businesses bidded for contracts. And for us to be able to know those things in real time allows us to adjust and continue creating opportunities for Black businesses.
First and foremost, it will just add another layer of transparency, and to Emil's point, sort of open the doors to Black businesses in terms of what the real opportunities look like within the city of Indianapolis. I'm excited about the fact that, like I said, they'll be measuring all of these activities in real time, and we'll be sharing that information. And to me, I think a lot of folks often have questions about, who's winning contracts, who's doing this business or whatnot, because that's information that normally just isn't shared readily. And so this platform is really going to give us an opportunity to put that information out there to folks, but more importantly, to measure, who we're getting in the system, who's winning contracts, what the amount of those contracts are. Those will be good for our office to be able to use to not only to showcase and say we are making an impact, but also to be able to say, hey, we need to probably put some more resources towards developing more Black businesses in Indianapolis, because when we develop them the right way, we now have the evidence that they can do the job. And so that part of it is what excites me the most about this. It sort of brings proof to the pudding that there are opportunities. We talk about it, we do a really good job of letting folks know, but I think when people see what did the end numbers look like, how many businesses got a real contracting opportunity, what was the size of it, were they a subcontractor or even a prime, that is all information that we as a city would like to share, but our capabilities are not the same as some of the private developers who can do this much quicker and at a much larger scale than we can. So for us to be able to partner is, a win-win for us, because we're getting the best of both worlds. We're getting the new technology, we're getting information that is instantaneous that we can share, but also it helps, like I said, bring a level of transparency to the work that we're trying to do, and just making sure that not only do Black businesses know what's happening and how they can win, but hopefully this will also open the eyes of other diverse business owners as well to say, okay, Black businesses are starting to get opportunities and resources with city projects and things of this nature. Maybe we should engage more than what we've been doing and see how we can grow as well. So
our goal is, ironically, to launch this in February 1st, Black History Month. And we feel like it is, like you said earlier, a game changer because of how we create access to opportunity. The number one thing in business, if you feel like the opportunity exists, you're a lot more energized about business opportunities, entrepreneurship. So we just want to put that front and center. The opportunities do exist. Now let's open the floodgates and create some access.
The city, we have overall diverse business participation goals of 27%, but out of that 10% is what we consider for minority-owned businesses, and that's would capture Black business spend. So that's a big number. And when it comes to city spending, you're talking millions of dollars annually that are going to minority, women, veteran, and disabled-owned business enterprises. So we want to make sure that Black businesses, along with all the other categories, but Black businesses who historically have not been given the opportunities and had the resources, that they do have the opportunities now. And to Mills' point, just being aware and knowing that the opportunities exist is half the battle. And that's what we tell people all the time, is our office, we can't guarantee you a contract, but we can make sure that you're aware about the opportunities and the resources that are available to help you, to hopefully make you more competitive and hopefully win a contract. That's our goal, and I think this project is definitely going to help us with that.
We're so grateful to JPMorgan Chase for sponsoring the build of this platform. I'm really excited about the partnership with Meta Impact, Scott McCorkle and his team, local tech startup, to bring the technology to us to build this and help manage this technology. Again, it's leveraging the ecosystem and energy around opportunities and business in Indy. Without that energy locally, we won't be having this conversation. So really grateful to JPMorgan Chase for building this and supporting the build out of this platform for the city. And having a local tech company that we can just walk into and work with to build and customize this platform. We're so grateful for that.
This Week in Business is made possible by InnoPower.
Also this week in business, the theme of the annual year-end forum from the Indianapolis Office of Minority and Women Business Development is keeping supplier diversity relevant. It's coming up Wednesday, the 6th. It offers a final opportunity this year to engage with both public and private sector vendors to learn about ongoing and new opportunities in the pipeline. If you go, expect a day of discussions and networking opportunities. The keynote speaker is Dr. Sean Huddleston, the president and CEO of Martin University. The entries close Tuesday the 5th at noon, so beware. Entries are open and tickets are on sale for TechPoint's 25th anniversary Mira Awards, honoring the best of tech in Indiana. The Mira Awards Gala recognizes excellence and innovation in 18 different award categories. There are spots available for judges, volunteers, partners, and sponsors. Entry deadline for this one is January 19th. If your business has an event that you'd like us to mention here on the show, send us an email 3 weeks ahead of time or BEO@wishtv.com. That's the email, BEO@wishtv.com. Coming up, what's 201 Studios? We'll find out directly. Before that, though, accounting and bookkeeping with Courtney Kincaid on business equity and opportunities. Welcome back. Time to look at accounting and bookkeeping. Student loan payments are back again. For a look at what that could mean to you and to the economy, here's Courtney Kincaid, President and CEO of the Indiana CPA Society.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, Accounting and Bookkeeping.
Student loan repayment is starting again after a several-year hiatus, which kind of puts borrowers in a tough spot. Some borrowers, right? In the past 3 years, we have had some significant inflation, and so there's some great concerns about adding an additional expense for employees or small business owners. As we talk about student loans and student loan repayment, there are some things that employers should keep in mind, and business owners and entrepreneurs, right? That there may be that additional financial squeeze on the market, but that's also something that might be happening with their employees. And so what can they do to be responsive? Student loan repayment is an interesting way, a different way to offer a benefit that looks at retention of employees. And so specifically there is Section 127, which talks about historically was employer assistance in helping someone continue their education. But as part of the COVID relief packages, there was a look at how that could apply also to student loan repayments. And so there is a certain amount per year that employers can contribute that is both beneficial to the employee and the employer. They get tax credit from the employer side, and it is not taxable income from the employee's side. So that's a really good way to be responsive. At the same time, there are different ways and creative ways that employers are considering repaying student loans on behalf of their employees. And these aren't significant contributions. The average contribution is $50 to $100 a month. But in the long term, when you're thinking about interest, it makes a significant difference. Being able to show your employees that, you can do that either through direct payments, always being cautious, of course, about how that might be affected in your tax structure and what the requirements would be there. Some employers are taking PTO and they're lumping PTO that might not have been used and saying, if you don't use your PTO, we'll pay you in cash, and you can apply that to your student loans. So there's all sorts of creative ways out there that they can do that. Always, though, being cognizant of tax implications and making sure that you're working with a CPA to make sure that you're meeting requirements and you're doing everything appropriately. And when you think about capturing that Section 127 benefit, there are certain requirements and eligibility rules around that that a CPA can help with. As sometimes small business owners and entrepreneurs are considering going back to school, or have already taken some education, they might want to talk to their CPA about how to think about the long-term implications of how that student loan was funded. And the ways that you can pay back loans are sometimes overwhelming to borrowers, and some of them are more advantageous than others. So talking to someone who understands that, a CPA who helps you, would be a good idea.
You can see all of our accounting and bookkeeping segments at beoshow.com. Don't have to type it in right now if you've got your phone. Scan the QR code, it'll get you right there. While you're there, sign up for our newsletter. The team updates it every Tuesday, and subscribe to our Business Equity and Opportunities podcast so you can listen to our contributors when you have time. A bit later, our focus is on Black Data Processing Associates, the BDPA. Before that, though, a visit to 201 Studios. Welcome again to Business Equity and Opportunities, the segment we call running your business day to day, actually doing the work. If you go to 201 Studios, you'll head to a historic building located in the Indianapolis neighborhood of Twin Air. It features a mix of artist studios, office spaces, flex space, and a warehouse. Pollock Investments operates it. We spoke to the boss, President R.J. Pollock.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities, running your business day to day.
My name is RJ Pollock, and I am the owner of 201 Studios. So I kind of started buying properties about 10 years ago in Fall Creek Place, generally multi-families. And then I started to look around just here on the east side for an opportunity to buy a commercial type building to where I could just kind of be myself and introduce my vision to what I thought an artist community might want to look like. Something similar to like the Stutz building. I knew that was going to go away after it was sold. And so I just wanted to find some place here on the east side. I bought this building about 5 years ago. When I bought it, it was basically abandoned. It was empty. Inglewood Community Development Corp owned it, and they didn't really know what to do with it. It was donated to them. And after I saw it and toured it, I just knew that it was something I was going to have to do. The building was cold, and it was dark, and it was wet. You're right, there was no windows in the building. None of the HVAC systems worked, half the plumbing didn't work, and the majority of electrical didn't work. So I just basically made a list on a piece of paper. Let's get light in the building, let's get heat in the building or air conditioning, let's get electrical outlets working, and let's get plumbing working. When I bought the building, there were no windows anywhere. It was covered in white vinyl. And so we did the windows first, because you can't really work unless you can see. And then we attacked all the inner workings of the building. It was interesting. I have always kind of had the belief of if you build it, they'll come. Like I've never done any advertising. Anything that I've ever done has been word of mouth. You know, if you get one tenant in and they start telling their friends, it just kind of snowballs from there. I wanted to be involved in the community that I was in. I think it's important, if you're going to be an investor in real estate, I think you also need to invest in the neighborhood that it's in. There are just too many out-of-state companies that come in and throw dollars at a project and sell it and move on. That's something I've never done. I've always been a buyer of a project and then an owner and a landlord of the same project. I want to first invest in this community, and in doing that, you know, you get the trust and a relationship with all the neighbors around you. They start to see changes in their own neighborhood. They can also start to see, you know, values of their own properties increase. And I just think that's really important that you do that in some of these areas of Indianapolis that are oftentimes overlooked. What I really started to focus on in the first leasing effort was makers. You know, you have your traditional artist type communities. You've got Circle City, you've got the Murphy building, and then you had Stutz that kind of had your painters and your sculpture people. So I wanted to provide a hub of activity for people that really make things, because that's what I enjoy doing. So we have jewelry makers, we have watchmakers, we have furniture makers, pottery, we do have sculpture, we've got glass blowing. We just have a wide mix of people that make things instead of just kind of traditional art. We do 2 big open houses a year. Otherwise, the building is not open to the public. We do a spring and then a fall or holiday type open house. The one for this fall is Saturday, December 9th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. And it's one of the 2 days a year that we open the doors to the public. And it's a time for all these makers to showcase what they do and to try to get some stuff sold for you know, enhancing their business.
I feel so fortunate, you know, to have found this space, because RJ is probably the best landlord I've ever had in my entire life. And he always keeps everything like really nice. He's super responsive, and the building is beautiful, and it's always kept up. Everybody wants the historic charm, but unless you're willing to actually keep it up, it's not really worth it. And so he actually, you know, makes the building what it is, which is really lovely.
I've been in the building for a few more years than RJ, and he has done an incredible job revitalizing the space, bringing life into it, and just bringing good, solid artists and business folks in here. It's been really fun to be a part of and be able to watch this place grow and improve over the years. And it's just a magical place now. There's so many great people. This is my family here in town, the people in this building. And a lot of that's just due to RJ's personality and his vision, his ability to kind of understand who's going to fit well in this building and work together well. And so it has been a huge honor and pleasure to be here this whole time.
I say one of the greatest joys I have as a landlord is watching a tenant move in to the smallest studio in the building, you know, 200 square feet, and watch their business or art or craft expand from there. I've got one tenant who moved in 3 years ago. Her name's Morgan Connor. She owns Moco Candles, and it's that exact thing that happened. She moved in upstairs to the smallest space we have, and has now in 2 years gone from 200 square feet to 500 square feet to 900 square feet. And I see her candles shipping out on the shipping dock every day by the dozens. And that's, you know, a great joy, is watching people come into an environment that accepts them for who they are and what they do, and has neighbors all around them that love what they do. And it's just going to allow them to grow and expand and, you know, make a life for themselves doing what they love.
Join 201 for an annual holiday open house, Saturday the 9th from 4 to 9. You can grab a beer from Kismetic, maybe a tamale from Tlaoli, then roam the halls for a gift for someone special and one of the more than 30 artists who call the building home. For more information about 201 Studios, head to beoshow.com. QR code will get you there directly. Coming up, our success story, it's tea time. First, though, the Black Data Processing Associates, now BDPA, and what it can do for you. Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. Time for our industry focus, the Black Data Processing Associates. Now, the BDPA is a national nonprofit organization with more than 40 chapters dating back more than 40 years. The local chapter has a number of programs for youth, young professionals, and leaders. For more, we spoke with Jamil Shabazz, the president of BDPA Indy.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities, Industry Focus.
My name is Jamil Shabazz. I am the BDPA Indianapolis chapter president. I've been the president now for this complete 2023, but I've been a member of BDPA since 2016.
My name is Sydney Hyatt. I have been a part of the BDPA organization for about 3.5 years now, mostly in the capacity of leading our youth program.
BDPA stands for Black Data Processing Associates. We believe in taking children from the classroom to the boardroom. We've been in existence since 1975, so that puts us, I believe, 47 years in existence. And our mission here is to really be a North Star for students of African American students of color, to let them know that this tech world is not alone and we can change the diversity workforce. Well, I've seen potential growth, right? I mean, if you sit and think about it, we deal with technology every single day. We know with our cell phones, our watches, and so forth. And you know, if you use technology, you need to understand it. So I believe that from conception, Mr. Co-founder Earl Pace, who is now also in the CompTIA Hall of Fame, basically saw this vision, and it's grown tremendously, especially here in Indiana. That we've seen it go from literally, shall I say, you know, just a handful of individuals to a busting world of technology right here in our home.
I have a dedicated team as part of my youth program that goes out into the community, communicates with people or students and families who have been a part of the program in the past, have been a part of the organization in the past. So we reach out to them. We also partner with local recruiting firms, mentioning Explorador, who allows us to showcase our program on their website, which then reaches out to the community. I think the greatest part about my role as a leader in this youth program is to be able to connect with these students, right? And when I get to be able to connect to these students, you really understand their passions and their eagerness to learn and get involved with more technology. And they normally might not have the opportunity to in the regular coursework or anywhere at school or extracurriculars. So we want to provide them a safe place and the opportunity to explore that technology.
Oh, absolutely. I think that our youth now, we live in a digital space, right? COVID brought on the new normal. So if you sit and think about it, you know, the running joke is that children are born with cell phones attached to their anatomy, right? And we need our phones and everything we do. That's technology we're holding. But do we use it as a tool or a toy, right? So we have a tool that we carry around with us in our tool belt every single day. And a lot of our youth, that our children, the next generation, they know how to use the technology better than we do.
So with the BDPA organization, we make sure to incorporate the technology and the business, positioning them for success both in higher education and in their future careers makes it that much more appealing, in my opinion. You know, we promote our program to make sure that they know that it's free of cost. We want to put the technology in front of them so that they can learn, and I think that just opens the door to anyone.
The goal here is to build a diverse workforce, right? It's not about black and white anymore, it's about have and have not. Either you have the skills or you do not. So BDPA takes the opportunity to build those skills such a young age, so that way when individuals are leaving the educational world and going to the professional world, they've already got a jump start on technology, etiquette, finance, business. They understand the game. They're not just players in the game. They actually know how to actually manage it. What we need from businesses, we need advocacy, right? We need for businesses to come help and support what we're trying to establish here. We're definitely a 501c3, and so we are fully volunteered in this space. So it would help for us to reach out to different businesses. We have companies here in Indianapolis that have been significant in helping us establish what we have today, but of course, more is always better, right? So at the end of the day, we need for businesses to reach out to us either through membership or through volunteering or even through donations to help grow this organization to the sky's the limit.
Yeah, talking to the youth of the community, I mean, they themselves are my passion. I want to make sure that they're positioned for success. I want to make sure that they have the tools that they need to succeed, really. That's what drives me to continue volunteering, continue to lead this program and build it into being better year after year.
My expectation is to look at tomorrow's CEOs. My expectation is to look at the young man or young lady today whom we're taking underneath our wing and to sit within our program, and 15, 20 years from now, we're looking at the next CIO, the next IT leader, someone who looks like me in that position to also bring another individual up. So the cycle repeats itself in a positive manner to be an impact in our community. So that's what I'm looking for.
Industry Focus is made possible by Circulus Digital Media.
You can learn more about the BDPA, or if you're interested in starting a business and you would like to revisit any of our past segments, all at BE&O.com. Feel free to share any of them with family, friends, potential business partners, Facebook, email, go to BE&O.com, scan the QR code on your screen right now. There are buttons underneath each story, make it easy to share however. When we return, it is tea time in our success story. Time for our success story, a place to celebrate local businesses and the work they're doing. Today we visit a company that says it can help you sleep, support your immune system, and more through tea. This is Nature's Tea Company.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Success Story.
I'm Lisa Gross with Nature's Tea Company. So I did it for my kids because I wouldn't let them drink the sugary drinks. I came up with this idea. They could have cranberry juice, they could have water, or we could make tea. So then our family would come over and they kept drinking the tea. And I'm like, stop it, stop drinking the tea up. You all can have all the other crap. And they said, well, Lisa, this is really, really, really good. Bottle it, we'll buy it, you should sell this stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not selling this stuff. Drink the other crap, leave this for the kids. So then, of course, the family kids would come over and they're like, Titi, sell this, we really, really like this. And they would take it back home with them. And I'm like, okay, y'all, stop it. And they're like, hey, Lisa, whatever that is you got to hit there. I've never had any tea like that in my life. It's real smooth, it's really, really great. Sell it, you got to hit on your hands. And I looked at Kevin and I'm like, what are they talking about? It's just tea. And he's like, Lisa, you know, people keep saying it. You think we should try it? We should go for it? And I'm like, I don't know. If you want to, you can do it. I got to go to work. Because at the time I'm working a full-time job. I'm like, I got to go to work. If you want to do it, do it. Bottle the juice, bottle the tea, whatever you want to call it. He's like, what do we call it? I was like, I don't know, it's natural. Everything I put in is natural. Let's call it Nature's Tea. So we did.
Well, it's interesting. You know, when people ask you once, can they buy it? Okay, great. When more and more people, but when there's a line of people beating the drum, hey, where is this stuff? You can only decide to either keep giving it away or start to bottle it. So we started to bottle the product in February of 2018. And so we started doing farmers markets in April of 2018. From there, we went to Georgetown Market. That was our very first store in September of 2018. And then we got into a large chain in Chicago in 2019 of February. And I could bore you with the details. It sounds easy. This is the hardest thing we've ever done as a family or as an individual. Getting into stores and shelf space is very, very difficult. But we've managed to do that. We've made it through a pandemic, and now we're in a lot of different stores, and now we have 7 flavors as opposed to the 2 we started with. Well, I think the thing that surprised me the most is how difficult it was. As a consumer, you walk in the store and you see thousands and thousands of items in the store, and you don't really understand the backstory of how they got to the shelf. So that process of going from, hey, I got a great product, to, hey, would you put it in the store, to, is there any available shelf space, to, How do I keep the shelf space? That walk is, when you don't know, I always say you don't know what you don't know. Well, I didn't know any of that, and there was no one to call, there was no one to talk to. So I had to learn how to negotiate that path. So that's what we're doing now. About a year ago, I got this grand idea that we should be in a stadium. Now, I'm gonna bore you with some details. You think getting into stores is hard? Getting into stadiums and places like that is darn near impossible. So we're at the Combine. We had a weekend at the Combine, and the NFL is here, and they're touting how they're helping small businesses, African-American businesses. And so I stood up and said, hey, no one's helping me. And we had an article in Forbes magazine that talked about how I was not happy with the Indianapolis Colts for not giving me a chance. We got a phone call, we had some meetings, they tried our beverages, they loved them, and here we are. We're proud partners of the Indianapolis Colts. Our future is very, very bright. We feel that with our brand being low sugar or zero sugar, made with real fruit, no dyes, no additives, if you will, we think that that's a market for people who want to have a healthier beverage. There's nothing better than meeting a new client who loves our product. It never gets old, never gets old, whether they're a baby or an older person. It never gets old to see the smile on their face, and they're genuinely surprised when they drink our drinks, and either they don't believe it's tea, or what kind of juice is in it, or all these other questions that are favorable from our standpoint, because we're trying to make that mark where it'll be a drink that they'll love and continue to purchase.
That is today's Business Equity and Opportunities. Thanks to all of the guests who've shared their stories. If you'd like more information about the topics on today's show, find the links on our website. Scan the QR code right now. It'll get you straight to beoshow.com. While you're there, look for segments from the past from each of these 7 weekly topics. Watch them, download them, share them with the buttons right underneath through social media. Listen to and subscribe to our Business Equity and Opportunities podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Subscribe to that. Also, subscribe to our newsletter that we update every Tuesday. And if you have questions or a success story, we'd like to hear it. Send us an email at beo@wishtv.com. Remember, support your local small business this holiday season, and we'll see you next week for more Business Equity and Opportunities. Till then, I'm Scott Sander. Have a great day.
Business, Equity, and Opportunities, made possible by InnoPower, Bose McKinney & Evans, Gemco, Fifth Third Bank, and Indiana University, Indianapolis.